Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Couple of months ago, I was at a party. And one of the other guests at the party was a guy who I had briefly worked with as a nurse back in the mid-1980s. It had been so long since I had seen him that I didn't recognize him. But he remembered me. You see, one day he had lost his cool and got a little bit abusive with a patient. Nothing really big, but he had definitely and clearly crossed the line. And so the patient complained. And since she mentioned that I was there, the head nurse came to me and asked what I had seen. And I wasn't about to lie about it. So I told her exactly what happened. Now, a lot of the other nurses didn't like what I had done. But it didn't really matter to me. I didn't really much care. I had seen something wrong, and I had addressed it. Now, like I said, this happened in the mid-1980s. So we're talking like 30 years ago. I hadn't given it much thought. But this guy obviously still had some feelings about it, and he started giving me some shit. At first I ignored it. But then when I saw that he really wasn't going to let it go, I turned to him and I said, I'm kind of surprised that you're bringing this up. Are you proud of the fact that you abused a patient who was in your care? That pretty much stopped him dead in his tracks. And I guess I could have let it go at that, but I continued. If you really want to get into this, I said, why don't we talk about what you did? Why don't you tell everybody? If you don't want to do that, then maybe you should shut the fuck up. And he did. Now, I'm not much of a party guy. When there's a party that I feel I should attend, I put in a brief appearance, and usually I'm one of the first people to leave. But that night, I stayed a lot longer than I usually do, because I wanted to make sure that he left before me. I didn't want to give him even a small victory. And this wasn't the first time that I had reported a case of abuse. There was another time when another nurse that I worked with stepped way over the line. Fortunately, the patient was not injured, but the actions of this nurse put that patient at really high risk of injury. And so I didn't wait for anybody to come to me. I reported it on immediately. And of course, the other nurses didn't much like that I did that. I wasn't real popular. But like I said, I didn't give a fuck. It made me real angry to see patients being abused by staff. And so I spoke up. Now, the reason why I'm telling this story is because I'm really tired of hearing this old line about how 99% of the police are good guys and there's only a few bad apples. Well, there's another old saying about how one bad apple can ruin the whole bunch. And that's exactly what's happening with our police. It's true that maybe most of the cops wouldn't do the things that these other cops do. They wouldn't brutalize or abuse a citizen or murder him. But the fact is that 99% of the cops will cover for the one who does. They'll look the other way. They'll lie on a report. They'll close ranks and back up the bad cop, and that makes them accessories to the crime. No different than the guy who is a lookout for a guy who's robbing the liquor store. He might not actually be robbing the liquor store, but he is an accessory. And as such, he's a criminal. When St. Louis County Police Lieutenant Patrick Hayes told police officers to target blacks for harassment and arrests, only one officer stepped forward to blow the whistle. One. The rest of the force not only did not speak up, but, as the citizens of St. Louis County will tell you, they followed his orders to the letter. And Hayes served on the force for 20 years. Obviously, his racism did not stop him from rising through the ranks to become a lieutenant. When San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies beat Francis Pusack, all 10 deputies on the scene participated in the beating. Not one tried to stop it. And I guarantee you that they all filed false reports about the incident. Unless, of course, they were told that they were seen on TV all over the country. So let's not pretend that the other officers on the force don't know who the bad apples are, what they're doing, and what's going on. When I was a nurse, we all knew who the dickheads were that we worked with. In any workplace in the country, everybody knows who the fucktards are. Everybody knows that. It's common knowledge. So let's stop pretending that the police are 99% good apples and a few bad ones. Here is the truth. 99% of police officers looked the other way, or filed false reports, or lied, sometimes under oath, to protect their fellow officers. Just as all of the other nurses in the hospitals that I worked at kept silent, leaving me as the only one to come forward to tell the truth. So let me send a clear message to any policeman who might come across this video out there. If you really want to be a good cop, here is what you have to do. You have to be willing, when you see a policeman losing control and abusing a citizen, you have to be willing to tell him to stop. And if he doesn't, you have to be willing to pull out your taser and tase him, or take out your club and beat him, or even pull out your gun and shoot him. The least you can do, the very least you can do, is at least to tell the truth, to report abuse when you see it. If you're not willing to do that, you're one of the bad apples. And not only that, you're a coward. And cowards make lousy cops. Thanks for listening.